through this window, and then you can actually plug those coordinates in to Google Sky. And I think you'll be amazed at what you see. So now going back to Google Sky, let's plug these coordinates in and see what we find. So I happen to have those copied and pasted right here. All right. So now we're going to copy and paste those here. And it's 6 hours, 9 minutes, 48 seconds, 22, 27 degrees, 54. And we're going to go from that cropped out black rectangle now to these new coordinates. And if indeed Nibiru has moved, it looks like it's jumped up to the north of Orion. And this is the image that appears. So some are now claiming that these are the same images. Not sure why there's a color difference. But these are in fact, people are claiming the same image. And you have, you know, like these anomalies, these stars or whatever they are around it, or moons. And on this object you have very similar pattern. So if this is Nibiru, those are how you can actually find it on both Google Sky and Microsoft Worldwide Telescope. Check it out. That is really cool, okay? But what I'm about to show you is just unbelievably amazing, okay? There is like a mighty climax to this lesson that is unbelievable, I'm telling you. Are you guys enjoying this? Is this okay? All right, okay, because this was like unbelievable amount of time. I had hundreds of, a couple hundred hours, I would say. Okay, so Nibiru on Google Sky. Now, here's something I learned just last night. After we filmed all this, Jay helped me film all this, and then I'm like, Lord, I, you know, need more, you know, and he, one of the things about Nibiru that, why they built all these telescopes and why they went up, why NASA went up and they repaired the Hubble telescope, and what they actually did is they gave it infrared capabilities, is because when it goes into infrared mode, you can see these Nibiru and stuff. You can track this stuff very easily. That's how you can see it. And so going into infrared, I don't have as cool of a video as what we just had, but now here's a couple looks at it in infrared in a different position as if it's been moving, okay? And now this is right by the constellation Leo, which is a lion, okay? All right, so check it out. That's where we were with that image of the red or the yellow Nibiru. And so now it's going to take us to another spot over here by Leo, which is the lion. And it's right by Mercury as well. And Nibiru is said to be the winged red planet. And so I'm very convinced that that's the best look at Nibiru we have. So it appears to be inbound. I don't know enough about the sky to say, okay, is it's moving to the left on these programs. I don't know enough about, I'm not an astronomer, so I can't tell you, okay, see how it's tracking, and look, it just means that it's coming into view. Because I think it should be going towards the sun. It's going to be going towards the sun. So here's another spot on this area, and this is the constellation Virgo. In her leg, that whole region is totally blocked out now in infrared. Now, the updates are different, infrared versus normal sky mode, okay? So in infrared, we're having a whole new look at this whole thing. And these are cropped out areas. I believe this is probably Elenin that's being cropped out there. I don't have proof, I don't know for sure, but this is what I suspect. Okay? Now there's an email that's circulating. This is actually how the Lord showed this to me last night from a pastor friend. Emailed this to me last night, and I just happened to look at it at like 11 o'clock at night. And so this teaches you how to go on a normal browser into Google Sky to check out Nibiru. Okay? So check this out. I recorded it on my laptop. And this pastor friend of mine didn't even know I was teaching on this, so it's very interesting how it all worked. So, from out of state, just sent it to me. Yeah. I don't know if you can see very well, but you're basically going to google.com sky, and that's google.com sky. And then you're going to type in the search window, you're going to type in Mercury, the planet Mercury. Okay? That's step 2. And then step 3 says make sure you turn it on infrared mode and then watch what happens. So you guys can do this when you get home and you go, holy cow. There's the infrared button. You turn it on. And there's Mercury in the center. And over here, looks like it's Nibiru in infrared mode where you can totally see it. And that's right by Leo. So, okay. That's enough. All right. Job 9:9. Let's turn there real quick because what I want to show you right now is so incredibly amazing. It is just the coolest thing I have ever seen, and I knew I had to teach about this today. I knew I had to teach this. I knew God kept me up that night because there was something He wanted us to see. And so if you go to Job 9:9, okay, Job 9:9. Job here gives credit to God. He says, He, God, is the maker of the Bear and Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellations of the south. So here, Job is giving credit to God as the creator of the constellations. It's really important because when you start to get into this, you can get into astrology, and you don't want to ever get into astrology. That's evil. That's when they take these constellations, they try and predict the future for your destiny and my destiny and all that. That's complete wickedness. We're going to stay way clear of that. Okay? It's also important to then look at Job chapter 38 and verse 31. God now takes the credit. He says, can you bind the beautiful Pleiades? Can you loose the cords of Orion? Can you bring forth the constellations in their season and lead the bear with its cubs? This is all in reference to the constellations, to the heavens, okay? So it's very important. They're there because they're signposts to us. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Genesis 1:14 says that God put the lights in the firmament of the heavens to be signs and signals of His moeds, is what appears in that text. Genesis 1:14, the word moed, the Hebrew word, that means appointments. It's the same word that is in Leviticus 23 when God has the Jews start celebrating His 7 moeds. And He says the sun, the moon, the stars are in the firmament of the heavens to be signposts, to be giant signals of my moeds. We should watch them. Okay. So, Psalms 19, verse 1, the heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they display knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. Their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. All right. If you have not seen this video, I would highly recommend you watch this. This is the most incredible video I have ever watched in getting me to reprogram the way I think about some passages in the Bible, in getting me to reprogram the way I think about the heavens and how important they are. So Star of Bethlehem, totally worth it. The author in this video sets forth being able to go into some programs and knowing for sure exactly which day Christ was born. And so he goes through and he shows you that indeed the constellation Virgo had a moon under her feet, and the Christ child was born on that day. So if you're thinking Revelation 12, that happened September 11th of 3 BC, is what he says. And that happened to be Feast of Trumpets that year. Right on a moed, right on schedule. Okay? All right. So God stamps the heavens. It's very important that we understand this because we can miss so much of the story if we're not paying attention. Now I want to show you pretty much the grand finale of this whole thing, okay? I want to show you the grand finale of what's coming, all right? This is so cool. Revelation chapter 12, let's just read through it, and then we're going to go through the last video. Revelation 12, a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. And she was with child, and she cried out, being in labor and in pain to give birth. Verse 3, then another sign appeared in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his heads were 7 diadems. And his tail swept away a third of the stars of heaven, and threw them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she gave birth, he might devour her child. And she gave birth to a son, a male child, who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up to God and to his throne. Then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared by God, so that there she would be nourished for 1,260 days. Okay. We're going to roll into this video, and this is pretty much the grand finale, you guys. This is just the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay? All right, so checking out Comet Elenin, I want you to be clued into what's happening from God's viewpoint. In Leviticus 23, he tells Moses to have the Jews start celebrating 7 feast days. And that word feast in Hebrew is moed. And actually what you see, the meaning of that word actually means appointment. So there are 7 appointments on the Jewish calendar that occur every year. And one of those appointments is called the Feast of Trumpets, or Yom Teruah. And if you look on chadbad.org, I'm going to show you, just so that you can see, that indeed we're in September of 2011 here on chadbad.org. And I'm going to scroll down, and indeed you're going to see that Rosh Hashanah, or Yom Teruah, is a 2-day feast that starts on September 29th and also on the 30th. Knowing that now, I want to show you something that is just unbelievably amazing. There's a free program on the internet called Stellarium. It's open source, and this is a software program. Get rid of that. This is a software program where you can actually pull up the constellations in the heavens and orbits and all sorts of things. So it's pretty cool. You can actually import certain asteroids or comets, and I put Comet Elenin in here. So I'm going to pull up Comet Elenin. There's a whole process to pull that up. Okay, so now it's tracking Comet Elenin. I'm going to go to the eastern sky, and now we're going to go to Feast of Trumpets this year. And I think you're going to be amazed at what we see. Okay, I'm going to bring up the constellations. I'm going to get rid of this atmosphere. All right. Okay, so here we go. This is the constellation Virgo. And let me just move her a little bit up. Okay. So here we see the constellation Virgo. This is September 27th. And if we go 1 day prior, we're going to go to the 26th. You're going to see that indeed Comet Elenin is blocking out the sun, and this is where the sun should be blocked out for about 3 days' time. That's exactly where we see it in position in the constellation of Virgo. Now here's what's interesting. If you read the book of Revelation, chapter 12, you're going to see that it says in verse 1, it says, a great sign appeared in heaven. Most scholars have only looked at maybe a spiritual aspect of what this passage is saying, but here is an actual sign in heaven that seems to fulfill Revelation chapter 12 to the T on Feast of Trumpets this year. Check it out. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. And she was with child, and she cried out, being in labor and in pain to give birth. So here we see exactly what this passage is depicting. On the 27th here, I'm going to go backwards in time. So here's the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. You see Elenin in front of the sun, like we had talked about, And now we're going to see Elenin now go